So what we're going to do now is that we are going to ask Mike on stage to help us to find the 5 keys to the worldwide prosperity for speakers. Take up your pens or take your phone, because he will be sharing a lot of information. Landy will then come and dissect the keynote and talk to us how to create the best keynote ever. So I want to welcome my good friend, Global Speakers Fellow, CSP, Mike Handcock.
Isn't it great we've got a conference? Doesn't that rock? And I just want to thank all of you for making this possible. I want to thank Nicola, Sherry, Paul, Lundy, of course. If you think all of this happens because I put it on, it's not true. Lundy has had every single part of this, from dressing the event to working with the teams behind to working with Sherry and the other teams. And together we're a team, and you're going to see the other half of our team a little bit later on. So with that, let's get into it. The 5 keys for worldwide prosperity. Let me tell you that this is based on a blueprint that we use in the Global Experts Institute, which is one of our companies. All of us as speakers want to have this gold star lifestyle. Right, Mr. Salakani? Absolutely, right? We want to have this gold star lifestyle. We want to roll around the world first class, roll out our gold, black, platinum cards and live this lifestyle. The problem is that for many of us, there's a problem here. What's the problem? Yeah, everything we're doing is expired. And it expires really quickly in today's marketplace. And your competition is not in this room. Your competition is the COO of Google, the Chief Marketing Officer of Uber. They're the new speakers in the new world. That's our competition. So we have to unexpire our cards. And what I'm going to share today comes from my new book. I had hoped to release it at this event, but with putting on Plan B, I had hoped to release it at GSS. It's now got to wait another 2 weeks before I release it to get our act together. But I'm going to share how to thrive in the new world. As speakers, I'm going to share how to build ecosystem. This is our business over the last few years. And I very rarely share this because I'm not allowed to at GSS, right? But at the end of 2015, we sat there with a $3.5 million US a year business. That we didn't like some components. Ian, microphone, if this is going to break down. Thank you. They were hard work. I'll leave this over here just in case I need it. Is it on? What's my technique I'm using, Laura? Whispering. Good. Okay, so here we were. We broke down our business. We sold off some components, and we a new world of what we really wanted to do. And this was our growth in terms of percentage over the next few years. Growing a business is easy. Growing it and not working too hard is difficult. Last year, we took 44 Fridays off. And I actually said to somebody at the break, I can't say that this year because we worked the last 2 putting this on. We had 40 working days vacation, not including weekends. We visited 12 countries speaking. That's light for us. This year it's 17. Actually, we just cancelled one because of that beer virus, coronavirus. And we have 18 months worth of cash flow in the bank, so we're free to do what we want for 18 months. Now, the reason I'm sharing this with you is because none of that matters unless you have purpose. You heard in the video that I'm on the board of several charities and things like that. That's not my purpose, that's part of my give back. We have brands we've licensed, Young Entrepreneur X Factor, which again is being held around the world this year. Last year, stunning kids with amazing ideas. One of them, 14 years old, working with MIT in Boston, designing software that reprograms your brain if you've been raped or seen murder or had some trauma happen that makes it disappear out of your psyche. 14 years old. He didn't win, by the way. A car parking solution in Asia won. 13 years old. Conscious Leadership Movement. This year we're running the first Conscious Leadership Summit in Mumbai at the end of August. And of course the Virtual Speakers Association, and many of you were there last night to launch that for speakers in countries that don't have associations. In the last 3 years we've run over 100 masterminds around the world. And Lundy will talk a little bit about that more later on. So all of this stuff comes from everywhere around the world. 7 trademarked technologies that sit behind this as well. And we're going to share a couple of those today. So who are we if you're seeing us for the first time? I'm from New Zealand. Lundy Jack is from South Africa. I'm the person who's the speaker. She's a speaker by default in 40 countries now. And she's not a member of an association. I'm the members of the associations. That's my bag. I'm the stage person. She's the person who really brings the intelligence behind it. So we're going to share with you today these 5 keys. So let's get into this. 93% of people on the planet are in the first 2 sections based on spiritual laws. There are 7 of them. I haven't got time to go into them all. The first one is about 40% of the planet, and that is safety. Where am I going to sleep and where am I going to eat today, right? You see that all the time in the streets as you travel. The second one is a dangerous one. That's about the other 53%. That's thinking. They're all in their head. How do I raise my keynote fee from 4,000 to 5,000? How do I get 6 more clients next month? You know the type of talk. You've probably said it to yourself. Many people in this room will be identifying with that, particularly if you're new in the business. The next law is we move into self-definition. Who am I and why am I here? Giving and love, it's not about me, it's about what I can give. And then moving up into consciousness and flow and into source energy. But also, 93% of us, and Ilya, you said this, that's why I love what you said. This is it, 93% of people are in underpants. They're doing the wrong things right. I'll say that again for Laura. They're doing the wrong things right. All day. I've got a new blog, you should see it. Really? How much money's it made you? I don't know yet. But I've worked all last week on it. Oh, I need to go and shoot some videos. Yes, are there any clients to give them to? No, I'll work on that later. Do you identify with some of these things? Well, we're going to change some of that today. Only 7% of speakers are earning more than $20,000 a month. And yes, I had to ask everybody on this slide if I could use their face on this slide. One of the speakers said, I'm earning a lot more than double that. And it wasn't one of the women, right? So if you want to pick that up and be in that top 7%, some of the things have got to change. Here's some statistics that came out in January this year. The second one there is probably pretty good, but the first one's the one that worries me. 70% of speakers are not confident in marketing. You're not a speaker. You're a marketer who speaks. I'll say that again. None of you are speakers. You're marketers who speak. In this room, we give standing ovations. That's wonderful. But I can tell you, if you're a speaker who goes after standing ovations all the time, then you're missing the one thing you're actually there to do, which is to create change and action. Your entertainment value. Yes, I'm controversial and I polarize some of you. Sorry about that. Oh, by the way, this is a real, genuine apology from my heart. Do I need to do it in Obama style? How does he do it? Oh, this is from my heart. Some of you have come up to us in the last 24 hours and really been friendly in that. I'm just really sorry. We've been really busy putting this together. And I am doing part of the AV as well, so my brain's sort of there. So don't think I'm ignoring you if I didn't hear you first time. Once this talk's sort of over and I can relax into the second day, I'll be really happy to chat, and so will Lundy. We'd love to talk to any of you. So don't take it personally. It's just organising this on the fly. We've been doing nothing else for the last few days. So, why is this bad stuff happening? It happens because of three things. Firstly, people have a lack of clarity. That's your topic scenario, right? Topic. So, you're not a topic. Reiner said that. So, they have a lack of clarity. Oh, what am I speaking about? Oh, today I'm a sales speaker. Next week I'm an entrepreneur speaker. The week after that I'm a spiritual speaker. Oh, now I'm back to an entrepreneur speaker. You don't have confidence. When I spoke to in New Zealand, New Zealand's leading speaker bureau, this is what they said. The CEO spends around about 60% of her day on the phone to speakers saying, you'll be all right, before they go onto stage. It'll be all okay. Yeah. Isn't that unbelievable? Crazy. Confidence, clarity, and then, of course, the competence issue as well. So, how to be in the 7%? Who'd like to be in the 7%, earning over $20,000 a month? You're so motivated, we're going to do this. Who would like to live longer? Anybody like to live longer? Okay, great. Stand up for me. I'm going to teach you a technique that's going to help you live longer. You up for it? Okay. Everybody, just take a deep breath in. Let it out. Once more. And let it out. Once more. And let it out. Congratulations, you will now live longer. Did I say sit down? Let me explain the science behind this in a second. Now what I want you to do is take your thumb and your second finger there and just put them together, both hands. I can't do that, around the clicker. And now take in 3 more breaths. And out. One more. And out. And one more. And out. Anybody notice anything different? Don't say yes, my hands are stuck together, right? Calmer? Thank you. What else? More energy? Thank you, Billy. You actually hit the nail on the head. Too much blood to my head, he said. By doing this, you close 2 meridians in your body, which actually allows you to take in more oxygen. Taking in more oxygen on a daily basis, because most of us just breathe shallow, especially when we're on stage. Oh, I'm so nervous, I'm on stage, right? Instead of just breathing through our diaphragm, by doing that, you will actually have more energy and live longer. And by the way, if you're going to a big appointment to pitch a sale, the biggest deal, the biggest keynote of your life, then just do this in the car before you get out of the car. And you'll calm yourself and you'll be able to do it. If you're nervous before going on stage, just do this, right? Give yourselves a round of applause. Now you can sit down. Now I want to know, who of you want to be in this 7%? Anybody interested in actually getting in the top level of speakers, making a lot more than they are now? Here's the secrets, okay? Comes out of this 5-star blueprint. Home TV is one of the biggest channels around the world, and these are the 2 most successful people on home TV. David Bromstead, who I think is probably one of the best presenters I've seen in a long, long time. He does like the millionaire homes, people who win lotto and buy homes, and he's so flamboyant. I saw him once with a grumpy person. It took him honestly about 20 seconds to reframe everything on what would have been live TV and actually get them on side. And then you have Property Brothers, Andrew and Scott from Canada. Any Canadians here? Anybody not from Canada here? Yeah. Thank goodness, okay. We've got some more audience engagement. Cool. Which one of those is more successful? Property Brothers. They've been on TV 5 years less. The brothers. Anybody seen my slides? The Property Brothers are far more successful. Look at that. 20 million net worth versus 2 million. Oh, there's two of them. Okay, let's make it 10 million each. 5 times the money in less time. Why is that? Well, it comes down to one thing. David Bromstead is selling retail value. This is retail value. I'm Ian Hatton. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the speaker. Clap. Oh, hi everybody. Keynote, keynote, keynote. Aren't I great? Keynote, keynote. Please standing applause here. Thank you. Okay, bye. Right? Where's my applause? Right. Whereas what Property Brothers do is they have an ecosystem that sits behind them. When they asked David Bromstead, would he ever enter the lottery himself, he had an interesting comment. He said, no, my job is my lottery. Now, I love that because it's passionate. But if you talk to Property Brothers, they have renovation companies, design companies, books for sale, obviously. They have a whole system online that you can download so you can DIY, etc. You can get into their whole world. So he, on an average show, Bromstead, makes $25,000. On an average show, they make $250,000. So who he would like to increase their speaking fees, right? So let's have a look at how we do it. We do it by building an ecosystem. So what's an ecosystem? It comes back to being inside of this 5-star blueprint. The first P is positioning, and I'm going to share 3 of these 3 bullets with you. So Paul said, be ready to write. This is the part you write, okay? 3 bullets with you. The first one is transference. Now, Ian's lovely. I love Ian, right? But Paul has more power than Ian. That's why Paul introduced me, because I asked him. That's called transference. If you're working for a company and you've got a choice of the MC at the event introducing you, or you can ask the CEO, you always ask the CEO. Why? Because they have more power. I learnt this many years ago when I ran on stage to give a 5-minute talk, which was meant to be 45 minutes at a Mark Victor Hansen event in America in 2007, and I hugged Mark, and I got everybody to give him a standing ovation and clap him, and he went off the stage. I realised later, after I studied psychology, I'd transferred his energy to me. So the audience, I became Mark. That was a $156,000 gig, and I only had 5 minutes on stage. So transference is a key. The second one is you need a positioning video. What did we have on before I came up on stage? A positioning video. That's the first time I've used that. That's the new 2020 version, so I was interested to see how it would work in a crowd like this. But that's a positioning video. It positions me exactly as I want to be positioned to every audience I want to speak to. So that way it doesn't matter if the MC goes, oh, well, this guy's sort of cool, but, you know, or the worst introduction I've ever had. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is Mike Handcock. You meet a lot of fantastic people in this industry. He's not one of them. That's true. So you can get it done, collect your footage, go to a professional AV company, get something put together that positions you so that you're telling the same message all of the time. It's the same as your infomercial or your explainer video if you're a software company. You know, if you're telling people how to use Amazon Go, go and have a look at Amazon Go's explainer video. It's phenomenal. And then you've got to have consistency in social media. So many of you don't have consistency in social media, I know, because I've been checking some of you out. You're on one page in a suit, then you're in another page at the beach with, you know, sort of like a hairy chest and Speedos. You know, that's not working for people. People don't know how, people get confused too easily. So, here's our case study. This is Liv. She's one of our clients. Madeline, if you're here, you'll recognise Liv. You know her. She's from Glasgow. And Liv is 21 years old. She won Young Entrepreneur of the UK. She built £1 million business before age 19. She wanted to become a speaker. She came to us. This photo is on her Facebook 3 days ago of her speaking at 10 Downing Street. There's Boris Johnson in there, right? And surrounded by the lords and ladies. She's being invited all over the world. Now, her issue was monetising her skills and monetising what she wanted to do as a speaker, because of course she's young. Everybody says come and speak for free. So we're saying no, no, no. You're in home staging. We need to do two things for you. We need to work on a whole home staging proposition that sits behind you, so when you come off stage, people want to get into a home staging business, which you own shares in, so that's all going ahead. And then I said to her, you need to get onto television. I was telling her this in the US, you need your own show. We came up with a brand for it. Strangely enough, she sent me an email yesterday. Somebody from the UK television who's produced 150 reality shows has written a brief and wants to produce her show. You just got to put it out there, folks, okay? So she understands positioning. Go and get a hold of her on her Facebook and you'll see how she positions. The second one is promotion. And promotion, the first one's referrals and testimonials, but not just testimonials. Nobody cares about the word. And people spend so much time on their websites. Oh, I have to protect my website and build it these days because it's important. No, it's not. Nobody trusts your website. The biggest problem in the world at the moment is trust. Nobody trusts your website. People will trust your LinkedIn profile because LinkedIn at the moment is trustworthy. So you're much better off putting your time and effort in there. If I'm going to read the same testimonial on your LinkedIn and the same testimonial on your website, I'm going to trust the one on LinkedIn far more than the one on your website because you put that one there and this is in LinkedIn's format. I know it's crazy, but that's how people think, okay? So we always make sure, and some of you will see a photo up there, I think there's 4 people in this room, under our testimonials for speakers. I just clipped that off YouTube there. Your testimonials have to be right. They've got to be video. They've got to be from the heart. So just like Paul's introduction, we didn't really tell him what to say. I gave him a couple of guidelines, which he didn't follow, but it was from the heart, really from the heart. That's what you've got to have. Then here's a key one. JVs, that's joint ventures, and alliances. Success in anything, folks, just equals 2 things. The amount of value something has and the way in which you leverage that value, okay? So what is it? The amount of, right, okay? People on the back table, could you yell it out so I make sure you're not asleep? The amount of, thank you, and then the amount of leverage, right? So leverage, there's only 2 ways you can do it, magnifying or multiplying. Getting joint ventures, alliance partners is multiplying your value. This is a question I always ask people. We work primarily with entrepreneurs. 80% of our marketplace is entrepreneurs. One of my first questions is, guys, tell me who your top 5 joint venture partners are. Probably 10% can answer that and they get to about 3. Most can't answer it. So therefore, guys, who are your top 5 joint venture partners that are going to lead your brand into markets that you want to get into? If you don't have that, you need it. And then the other one is webinars. Webinars are really good at getting your name out and getting branding and being consistent as well. We average about 25 USD every webinar that gets seen at the moment. We average about 445 USD per member that sits in the audience when I speak. So you've got to look at building multiple streams of income in this. Persona. This is really about you. Your big why, okay? And your big why can change. I agree with that, Paul. And I think that, you know, even though Rainer, when I look at your last slide, I go, wow, that's so many conversations we had at the French castle are in that slide. But I'm still a great believer in you've got to be driven by something. You've really got to unpeel that onion that you have to understand that. And then, of course, understanding your X factor, what makes you different than anybody else. What makes you unique? And it can be all sorts of things. I've had a shoe sponsor for, 13 years this year, so I don't buy shoes. I've had jean sponsors, clothing sponsors of all descriptions, but it's not just that. It's not just that sort of X factor. It's where your passion and your competence meet at a point. And that's why sometimes, a lot of the music I use here, I use my own music that I've written, things you don't even know it, but it helps add to the vibe because I understand what the vibe should be. You've got to have that as well. And we make sure it's on everything that we put out. This is off Lundy's LinkedIn profile. There it is. It says, we help create profitable, sustainable, conscious leaders. That's all we do. That's our why. Okay? And it's everywhere. It's on her LinkedIn banners, it's on my LinkedIn banners, it's on our Facebook pages, etc., websites, etc., etc. And then there's your personal brand, of course, the way you wear your hair. You're going to see some great people with different personal brands during this event for sure. This is Dr. Sam. Now, Samantha has a brilliant business. She's a speaker by default. We made her a speaker. This is her business. She goes into universities and hospitals and redesigns their space so that their patients and students have a much better time, therefore leaving hospital earlier and therefore also getting better grades at university. So we've taught her how to become a speaker so she can get on the hospital stages, the university stages of the world. That's lifted her average price point on her sales beyond $100,000. Her most recent sales, $300,000 after talking on a stage. And all she did was give a keynote, and Lundy's going to show you how we design keynotes after my talk. So watch out for that one. So here's a question for you. Who of you in the room already has a significant ecosystem that creates more value than just you being on a stage? Okay, good, excellent. About 30% of you. Okay, so this question's for other people. If you're growing your business towards the $20,000 a month or are already at that level and beyond and would like to do at least 30% more this year, so you want to grow your business by at least 30% more, but you're doing at least about, or somewhere around the $20,000 a month or aiming at it, please stand up for me. Don't be shy. Okay, 3, now they're standing up. If you want to grow your business by more than 30% this year, or you're already doing $20,000 a month, please stand up. Okay, great. Now we've got some standing up. Excellent. Good. Those of you that are standing up, we're going to help for free. It's not all going to happen today, I can promise you that. But Nicola, where are you? At the back there. Could you, those of you that are standing up, just write your name or give a business card to Nicola. Actually, come up the front so those who haven't met you just see you. And what we're going to do is we're going to give you 45 minutes and we're going to map out this whole thing for you so you get it. And that's going to be our gift to you from this conference. Is that good for the people that stood up? So there's Nicola. Don't be shy, you can go and give your thing to her at any stage, but first in we'll deal with first. Okay, great. So now let's move on. We've got a couple more things to do. Now you've got to learn to present. And presenting is about team, right, Raina? Okay? It's not about just the guy who puts the flag in first. It's about the whole team. So you just met one of Lundy's and my team. So we've got team all around the world, but when we had this event, we have to bring the team in because we know we can trust Sherry because we've worked with her before and she's amazing, but we know that we also want to pack in more team to make sure you guys have a good experience. So presenting is about team. Team supports you. You need a wingman. Don't go to your events alone. How are you going to network the room? How are you going to get more business there? How are you going to talk about that? You need a presentation that engages people. So, everybody turn to the person who's sitting next to them. Raise your right hand for me. Just raise your right hand, turn to the person sitting next to you, and just give them a high five and go, you guys are awesome. Right? You have to engage people. So you've got to monitor energy. Even in a speaking group like this, I feel when your energy's just dropping off a little bit, so you have to monitor that. And then you've got to build a value ecosystem. What does that look like? Lundy will talk about it a little bit more later on, but you have to put some trust in there. People don't trust you. So you have to build them trust with them. You have to show them some love. Don't we all hate getting the LinkedIns that says, "Hi, thanks for connecting with me. I run a website design business based out of Calcutta," right? Block. So we hate that. So don't do it to people. Don't get up on stage and go, "Hi everybody, I'm such and such, this is my keynote," and at the end say, "Listen, by the way, you can all buy my book," or do something like that. It doesn't feel right. You don't need to do that. If you position correctly, people are going to want to talk to you. And then the last one here, as I said, building your own ecosystem. Look at that in stages. One of the biggest challenges we got a few years ago was we need a $100,000 product. We didn't have a $100,000 product. Our top product was around $20,000. So we had to sit down and design a $100,000 product. Strangely, we designed it. We thought, "Oh, this is probably not going to work, but we'll just put it on Facebook to our inner circle group and see if somebody buy it." 2 people bought it off Facebook. They contacted us, "Oh, we saw your post. We'd love to do that." And here's the weird thing about that product. I wrote to one of those 2 people 2 years later. She lives in Asia, and said, "Hey, listen, I'm collecting some testimonials. Could you do a testimonial for this product because somebody wants to see it from a person?" She didn't read the email because she's busy. She wrote back and said, "Yeah, Mike, it's time we did it again. That's a great idea." All I did was ask for a testimonial and we made the sale all over again. And the last part is packaging. And packaging comes from, number one, you've got to have a baseline revenue. So if you're Laura and your baseline is teaching what she just taught about the voice, which I said to Landy, I really love that session. It was really engaging. And you're a great singer, by the way. So, which is great because now I don't have to hire a singer for the end of the conference. It's awesome. So you have to have a baseline. So if your baseline's training, if your baseline's half-day training events or keynotes or whatever it is, that's your baseline. But it shouldn't end there. It doesn't need to end there at all. You need to then build on that. You need to have a stretch. When Reiner's on that mountain and he's sitting on the ledge doing his bivouac, he actually has to get up the next day and stretch for the next part. So you have to have that stretch. For some of you, that's running weekend events. For some of you, that's running your own events if you're doing corporate stuff. For some of you, that's collaborating with other people. You have to start to create that stretch. And then from that, you're going to start thinking bigger and thinking about grand slams. The problem with grand slams is people spend all their time working on grand slams and forget their keynotes that are actually doing them. So you've got to keep doing that work. We have a very simple model in our business. As you know, we hardly work Fridays. We basically, Monday to Thursday, we only do 2 things. Ilya, you'll be happy of this. We only do 2 things. We talk to existing clients or talk to new clients. Everything else we try and outsource. There's very little else that we do. The only other thing Lundy and I probably do is we design our own presentations because we're precious about them. Then pricing. Most of you are underpriced. Most of you can probably kick up your keynote fee by 50%, nobody will notice. People go, I'm training and it's $1,400 a day. I said, why don't you make it $1,900? Oh, I couldn't do that. I said, just pitch it once. Those of you that know me will know this is a funny thing. Everybody says, what do you do if somebody wants to beat you down in price? I have one thing I always go, they say, your keynote fee is X. We can only afford this. I say, that's fine. Just give me a second. I bring up a photo on my phone. I say, I've just found the right speaker for you. And they go, oh, cool. I said, because I can't do it at that price, so I've got the guy for you. And they go, oh, cool. And then I turn around, there's a photo of a monkey. And then I do pregnant pause. I just look at them like this. And they start laughing nervously, and then they go, I said, look, you honestly know if you pay peanuts, you're going to get monkeys. And the problem with monkeys is it's not that they're going to be a monkey on stage. Everybody's going to go, who hired that monkey? So everybody's going to hate you. Would you like me to make your life easy, and would you like to be loved or hated? It's a very simple thing, right? So simple ways in psychology you can get around that. And then the other one is the customer journey. And we've heard about people already who've got customers that go on and on and on for years and years and years. I think that's fantastic. I really love that. But the only way I'll do it is if you stick to your values. We took 8 months off a few years ago and went travelling. Not one client complained. People were on our Facebook going, hey, where are you guys going next? Hey, when are you coming back? It'd be great to see you. Love to see your photos. Our business didn't decline. It just shifted into other areas. So you can do this. The customer is not king. You're the king and the queen. You have to organise it the way you want it organised, or you'll constantly be pleasing people for the rest of your life and running around after them, and that's no way to run a business. I have a saying I say to entrepreneurs, and I'm going to say it to you guys today as we're coming towards the end of the presentation. Don't build your life around your speaking business. Build your speaking business around the life that you want. David Koutsoukas, the Australians in the room know David. He's a great client of ours, past president of PSA Australia. He is an incredibly good speaker who runs an incredibly great business, but his problem was what some of you are suffering from, overwhelm. All we did is we took, I said to David, so what have you got, David, when we first took him on? He said, here's my David Koutsoukas cups, but I've also got some Team Academy cups that I've got. But I've got the Academy ones in blue and red and green and purple. So where do you keep all this stuff? He said, you want to see my garage at home? He said, my wife hates it. It's got just so much product out there. So I said, it's like a menu at a Chinese restaurant. Nobody knows what to order. I said, so I'm now Gordon Ramsay. I'm going to come in and do a menu redesign for you. So we got his product in order. Landy changed his image from what he looked like. He actually met us in a hotel in Perth and said, you've got no idea, Landy, since you changed my image, my speaking fee's gone up 40%. And nobody's questioned it. It's because he feels different. So it's simple things. Re-energize your ecosystem. Those of you that already have one, re-energize it. Rebrand and repackage what you have in many different ways, and that's what you should do. And rebuild all of your key presentations. It's 2020. Look at Reiner's slides. They're phenomenal, okay? So some of you, even if you're already at $500,000 or $1 million a year speaker, you can seriously increase that if you just declutter and rebuild that. So with that, that's the template that we're going to use. That's some of the templates I'll take you through. Don't worry, when I talk to you, it's not a sales pitch. We select our clients. And the few of you in your room will tell you that, because a few of you in the room haven't been selected when you've even asked us. So when we talk to you, those of you that do want to have us help you, we'll spend 45 minutes and we'll help you rebuild this world for you. And we'll help you rebuild it because just like our friendly bees on the screen up here, you have to build an ecosystem to have people that will aspire to be with you and also to keep being with you as well. Notice I'm using the word being a lot. And then finally, this is an old statement by Heraclitus. Well, old, it's only about 3,000 years. What you choose, what you do, what you think ensures what you become. So today and tomorrow, you've paid this money to come all the way to Namibia. You've got wonderful people around you. You've got wonderful speakers. It's a wonderful environment. Change your thinking. This is the time in your life where if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, it's time to change. And with that, thank you very much. No standing ovations.